It sucks when it happens. And unfortunately, with what I'm about to tell you, it's going to continue to suck. It's a fucking shit show. What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. Mood and atmosphere. No, it's fucking garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Okay, in this video, I don't want this video to be a downer, but you know, it might be for some. The intention of this video is just to give some perspective, some objective perspective over something that I tend to, think about from time to time. And one of the reasons why it tends to cross my mind from time to time is because I'm going to be 40 this year. Now, for those of you that are 48 and 52 and 55 and 47, spare me the condescending, joking comments about, yo, you're not old, Dave. I'm 48. You're still a young pup and yada, yada, yada. Listen, I have a 55-year-old sister. I have a 51-year-old brother. I have a 48-year-old brother, okay? Your age doesn't impress me, all right? I'm not saying I'm old. I'm just saying that I'm going to be 40, and 40 is 40. I'm not 19 anymore. I'm not 25 anymore. I'm not 30 anymore. So, it sneaks up on you, as you know. So, you kind of look back and you think, wow, I'm kind of 40, and you look at everybody else around you and they're all, 20 years older too. So, it kind of sneaks up on you. And then of course you apply that to the entertainment industry and movies and music or sports or, whatever wherever your interests lie, so to speak, and you think, Jesus, there are some legends that are up there in age. And for me, I tend to sort of think about this more, in the movie side of things, as opposed to music or sports. But certainly you can do that. You can apply it to those areas as well. And, we live in a day and age now where there are some significant legends in this industry that are up there in age. Listen, the average life expectancy for a male in the United States, I believe I was just looking at this the other day, I believe it's 76 or 77 or something to that effect. The average life expectancy for a woman, I think, is 80 or something. The average life expectancy for a male in Canada, I believe, is 80. And I think the average life expectancy for a woman in Canada, I think, is 84. Now, when you get up to that age, 4 years difference, it's pretty marginal, right? Although, certainly, if somebody said you want to live to 76 or 80, I think, we all would probably say, well, yeah, I'll take that extra 4 years. But that's an average. So just because I'm Canadian, that doesn't mean I'm going to live to 80. And just because you're American doesn't mean you're only going to live to 76 or something to that effect. That's just the average, right? When you average it all out. There's a number of environmental factors. There's a number of health factors. There's a number of a variety of reasons why people could live longer or even shorter. So, but when you look at the average, okay, and most of the people I'm talking about are American, they're up there. And they're either on the cusp of the average or just about to pass it. Which means they're, according to statistics, they're living on borrowed time. And it's like, holy shit. Like when I say to you, Harrison Ford, when I say Robert De Niro, when I say Al Pacino, when I say Steven Spielberg, when I say George Lucas, when I say Martin Scorsese, when I say Joe Pesci, when I say Arnold Schwarzenegger, when I say Sylvester Stallone, every single name I just mentioned is over the age of 70. Under 80, but over 70. Holy fucking shit. Now, if I say names like Mel Brooks, Dick Van Dyke, Carl Reiner, Betty White, they're all over the age of 90. And then you got Kirk Douglas, who's 102. And then there's his son, of course, Michael Douglas, who's 74. Legends. Holy shit. Think about all those names I've just said. And that's not even the tip of the iceberg, really. Oh, but it's a good selection of impactful, legendary names that we are familiar with, that were consistently at one point in their lives at the top of their game for years. Holy shit. Over the next 10 years, it is absolutely not out of the realm of possibility, and as a matter of fact, more than likely, at least 6, 7 of those names I just mentioned are probably going to be gone. I'd be very shocked if Kirk Douglas made it to 112, and Carl Reiner made it to 106, and Dick Van Dyke made it to 105 or 6, and Betty White made it. Of course, Betty White is just a national treasure. I mean, I think she's going to outlive all of us. I think when we are all gone, and it's the year 2058 or whatever it is, I think Betty White's still going to be around. She'll be like 180, but she will still be around. She'll still be kicking. But think about that. That's crazy. And maybe even more, Fuck. Now, we just had Luke Perry pass away yesterday as of shooting this video. Now, Luke Perry, I don't consider a legend. Now, he might be a personal legend to you because you grew up with him, and certainly he was in the pop culture consciousness in the 90s because of Beverly Hills 90210. Now, I didn't watch the show. I mean, you couldn't be a teenager in the 90s, whether you were a guy or a girl, and not catch at least 5 minutes of it when you were, flipping channels. But it wasn't a show, obviously, that was targeted towards me. A lot of, the girls my age certainly really liked it. But yeah, I mean, you can't deny that his impact in terms of that show, especially because that's what he's most known for, was huge. But objectively speaking, I don't consider him a legend per se, because what a legend is for me, and I think this is the general consensus really of what a legend is, even though there actually is a dictionary definition. I want to actually sort of get a little more personal. A legend for me is somebody who has been consistent throughout their career, whatever that career is, of being great and consistently at the top of their game. That doesn't mean they don't have a every now and then. Everybody does. But they rise above it very quickly. They are consistently at the top of their game. That doesn't mean they're consistently the best, like when it comes to sports. They might be the best and have the most points or the most this or the most that, whatever it is, for a couple years, and then they fall to number 2 or 3. But they're consistently always there. They're consistently up there for years. And if it's in the case of the entertainment industry, it could be decades. Now, you could make the argument and say, well, what about those people that are considered legends today that had a very short career or a short life, like Marilyn Monroe, like James Dean, like Buddy Holly, like the Big Bopper, like Richie Valens, right? Well, the reason why primarily they're considered legends today is at that time when Marilyn Monroe was in the few movies that she was in and when James Dean was doing his thing, they weren't necessarily considered legends at that time in the 50s. They're considered legends sort of in retrospect as the years and the decades moved on, because they remained in the pop culture through movies, through television. They were adored. Whatever your personal feelings are on Marilyn Monroe or James Dean or whatever, they were consistently in the pop culture, and they were at a time when pop culture was changing, and they had a very big significance on that part of that change. The Beatles is a prime example. I mean, the Fab Four, as they like to call them, were not a band for long. I mean, they weren't together for that long, but their impact was huge, and they were changing the culture. Elvis Presley, the Beatles and Elvis is a bit different an example from like James Dean or Marilyn Monroe. But certainly when you die young or your impact is very quick, if you remain in the pop culture because of how significant that impact was, and you remain in the pop culture for decades, you become a legend, 100%, because they take what because you went out on top, essentially. You didn't have, you died so young, but you didn't have that downfall where there was that moment where people didn't give a fuck about you. No, you were here and then you died. It's like, whoa, so you're forever there. Do you know what I mean? James Dean is forever there. Marilyn Monroe is forever there. Elvis Presley is forever there. He never had the opportunity to go like that. He's forever there. That's one of the reasons why. But when you come to like actors and stuff, yeah, I mean, everybody I just named is a fucking legend, and they're all over the age of 70, and they're on the cusp of the average lifespan, and we could be losing these people. And it's just like, holy shit. I'm not saying we're going to. I mean, I put up a funny meme online maybe a month or so ago, where Steven Spielberg's mom lived to 97. And his dad, at least as of shooting this video, I believe is still alive at 101. So Steven Spielberg's what, like 73 or 4? It's possible we could be getting another, if the genes fit, genes with a G, if the genes fit, it's possible we could be getting another 30 years of Spielberg, which I would be okay with. Not that he would necessarily be making movies at, 95 years old, but look at Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood, there's another one, another legend. And he's like 85 or whatever he is, and he's still knocking out movies. He just did The Mule, for Christ's sakes. But you think about that. There's another guy, another legend where you're like, holy shit. Sean Connery, there's another one. He's not acting anymore, but he's like 80. Well, he's 12 years older than Indiana Jones. He's 12 years older than Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford's 76, so Sean Connery would be 88. So it's like, holy fuck. And you're probably asking, how do you know that? Well, it's because it was kind of funny that Sean Connery played Harrison Ford's dad in The Last Crusade, when in reality, he's only 12 years older than Harrison Ford. That always stuck in my mind. That's how I know that. So it's insane. It's insane when you think about it, that, holy shit, like these are, and what a legend is today, the bar to achieve legend status today is so fucking low that, like, and the different social media and the different way we consume our entertainment and platforms. And, it's just crazy to think that some of these iconic legends that are pioneers that paved the way for what entertainment is today are on the cusp of at the very tail end of their lives. And I'm not trying to sound morbid or as a downer, but it's real perspective. You think Luke Perry was tough, and I'm sure it was for many of you. More so than it was for me, because I didn't really have an emotional attachment to him. But I certainly can recognize, I can go, oh shit, Luke Perry, fuck, that sucks. And what's more shocking really at the end of the day is that he was only 52, right? So that kind of sucks, and certainly it's like, oh, that's, too bad. But you think that's impactful? Well, look at all these legends' ages and imagine over the next 10 years, within the next 10 years, we could have like half of them gone. I hope not. I really hope not. I really hope, we all want to, live forever. But not really. But, we certainly don't want to, no one wants to die necessarily. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy to think that some of these people, and it's not just the men. I mean, look at, you got Cher, you got Meryl Streep up there, you got Sigourney Weaver up there, you got, I mean, there's just, it's insane to think that over the next 10 years, many of these individuals may not be here. That's insane. Like when Robin Williams died, he's a legend. And it's like, fuck, that hit me more than Luke Perry did. And it probably hit more people on a broader scale than Luke Perry. Potentially, because of it's Robin Williams. It's like when Michael Jackson died. It's like, holy fuck. And Robin Williams was really sad because it was essentially before his time. I mean, of course, he took his own life, as we all know. So, it almost would have been easier had it been cancer or a stroke or something. Not that it's ever easy, but do you know what I mean? So it's just like, fuck. And, it's like, yeah, we could be getting more of that Robin Williams moment, like, oh, shit. On more of a, like, more kind of bunched together, over the next 10 years. And it's like, shit, man. And there's more than just the people I'm talking about here. Like when you go to music, you go to Elton John, you go to AC/DC, Kiss, the Rolling Stones. I know we joke around about how Keith Richards, looks like he's going to live forever, but in reality, we know it's not going to happen. So it's like, holy shit, and pick your band that's still going, it's Paul McCartney, it's amazing to think that we are on the cusp of many of these pioneers of what we know the entertainment industry to be today. Are on their way out. I sound so bad to say, but it's just enjoy them while we still have them, folks. The toughest one for me is going to be Harrison Ford, because Harrison, like above anybody else, it's still going to be tough when it's like, holy fuck, Robin Williams just died. Holy shit. Al Pacino, no fucking way. Sylvester Stallone, get the fuck out. But the toughest for me is going to be Harrison Ford. Man, it's going to be almost as tough as when I lost my parents. I lost my parents in 2011, as many of you do know. Some of you may not. Of course, that's really tough because, I was only 32. Granted, to be fair, there are many children that lose their parents when they're like 2 years old and they don't even, remember their mom or dad, or they're 10 or they're 12. I was very thankful that I had 32 years with my parents, but at the same time, it is still quite young, relatively, to lose your parents. I mean, I was hoping that I would be well into my 50s when I lost my parents, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So, but man, when Harrison Ford, I'm hoping he's going to be around for at least another, he's 76. So I'm hoping he'll be around for at least another 10 years, but think about that. It's like, who knows? There's a lot of factors. Who knows how people go, when people go. Look at Luke Perry. It's insane to think. It's insane to think. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about that and sort of get that off my chest and see what you guys think. What are some people that, having listened to this sort of reflections video on these legends that are in our industry that are older now, what are some people that maybe I haven't mentioned that you think, oh, fuck, yeah, that's going to be tough. And that's coming up. You know what I mean? It's like, shit, that's not too far away. That's going to suck for me because I'm, and they are a legend. Remember, they got to be objectively a legend, not necessarily a personal legend. They got to be objectively a legend. Somebody who is consistently not necessarily now because maybe they're a bit older, but was consistently at a time at the top of their game over years and change the culture or change pop culture, or change the way we look at certain things or, whatever the case is. Like you can argue and say that Stallone and Schwarzenegger changed the action movie genre, and were at the top of their game for years. Harrison Ford is one of the last bona fide classic movie stars. Do you know what I mean? We don't really have movie stars anymore. And you could look at Harrison Ford and be like, he's like one of the last remaining, that classic movie star kind of thing, and it's insane. It's insane to think that, it's just changing now. I mean, what's a legend today is just not, the bar is so fucking low. It's ridiculous. But anyway, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time when I'm not posting here. All the links are in the description. And yeah, well, that was nice, wasn't it? I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.